All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. Want to talk about the big reason that they waited to have this memorial for Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gigi until February 24th. Of course, right on the surface, everyone will point out that the daughter wore number 2 on her basketball jersey and Kobe finished his career with number 24. And they were selling tickets for this memorial for as much as $224. So that's very simple on the surface, but the deeper thing is the Boule, which Kobe Bryant was a member of, and no doubt his father as well, which is based out of Philadelphia, just like how Kobe and his father are from Philadelphia. As we covered a few days ago, Sigma Pi Phi, the official name of Boule, as well as Boule, both names sum to 55. Today's the 55th day of the year. We're going to talk about that and more. But I want to begin with what I caught out of the memorial and realize I didn't see the whole thing. I turned it on when the general manager for the Lakers was speaking. When I turned it on, he was telling a story about how he was texting Kobe just moments before his death. And the last thing that Kobe Bryant was reportedly doing in his own life was trying to help the daughter of a man he knew secure an internship with a sports agency. And he was reaching out to the Lakers general manager to get assistance with that. So it was the story about helping out a man and his daughter, kind of like the memorial is to remember Kobe Bryant, the man, and his daughter, as well as the other people who died in the crash. So during the general manager's time speaking, he brought up the story about how Kobe Bryant learned to play Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata by ear. And I thought that was interesting because the ceremony is on February 24th, 2020, a date with 66 numerology, and Moonlight Sonata equals 66. And what 66 is the 11th triangular number. If you add the numbers 1 through 11 together, it equals 66. Kobe Bryant's known as the Black Mamba. The word black is 11. Of course, LeBron passed Kobe in Kobe's hometown the day before his death in points scored in Philly, in the home of the Boule, and LeBron James has the Boule symbol tattooed on his chest. But Philly's court also has a black snake on it. Not an accident. Now, as soon as they did this tribute to Moonlight Sonata, they had Alicia Keys come out and played on the piano. She didn't say a word, which I thought was interesting, because she had a lot to say the day of the Grammys, the day Kobe died. She's the one who remembered him. And of course, Alicia Keys equals 41, just like Kobe Bryant, dead at 41. Again, if you haven't read my book, I talk about Kobe Bryant in 2 chapters. I talked about him in the first chapter, in light of how Bryant equals 26, which is the God number, and how he was worshipped like a god on this planet. Again, I wrote my book years before Kobe died, but anyway, Bryant 26, dead on the anniversary of Bear Bryant, synced up with Jordan's birthday. Jordan and Bryant both 26. Talk about that. And then the chapter on Rig Sports, I talk about how Kobe Bryant's 41 and how 41 was such an important number in his career. Lo and behold, he ends up dying at 41. But anyhow, in these same ciphers where Bryant's 26, Kobe Bryant's 41, this full reduction cipher, which is also Pythagorean Gematria, the most pure cipher, in this same cipher, Lower Merion's 66, where he went to high school. And if you watch the memorial, they went straight from the Moonlight Sonata tribute by Alicia Keys to a highlight reel of Kobe's career, which was just an audio playover with like words changing on the screen that concluded with Mamba Forever. But anyway, the beginning of that highlight reel begins with his days at Lower Merion, a radio broadcast of him, doing big things at Lower Merion, which is also 66. And once that highlight reel ended, they brought out Michael Jordan of the Chicago Bulls, and Bulls is 66. And I gotta admit, Michael Jordan seemed pretty sincere. Now notice what was up on the screen at the center of the court. The name of this memorial was A Celebration of Life, Kobe and Gianna Bryant. And the way they came up with that phrasing is no accident. Again, the people who control the NBA, which are Jews, they do everything by this code of letters and numbers. This code of letters and numbers comes from Jewish mysticism, which is Kabbalah. Kabbalah states God created the world with letters, numbers, and words. God is 26, letters 26. It's not an accident we have a 26-letter alphabet. Again, Bryant's 26. So is Bear. Kobe Bryant dead on the anniversary of Bear Bryant, on the 26th day of the year. Remember, the Gregorian calendar was established in this world at the same time English was standardized as a 26-letter alphabet. But this title up here, A Celebration of Life, Kobe and Gianna Bryant, it equals 317, which is the 66th prime number. So they have this on the 66 date numerology. I'm sure there were more 66s coded into this, but again, this is where I tuned in. So I was only able to follow it for as long as it was going on. But from the 317, the 66th prime, what I was thinking about, I was like, man, we've been talking a lot about Kobe and 666 and Revelation, the 66th book of the Bible, which teaches about 666, the number of the beast. In Revelation 13:18, Philadelphia also gets its name from Revelation. Revelation 3:7 is about the letter written to the church of Philadelphia. Don't forget, when you run Gematria in reverse, Bryant equals 37. Like Revelation 3:7 about Philly, Kobe's hometown. Like how Kobe died on the 37-year anniversary of Bear Bryant. Kobe died on his 157th day of his age, the 37th prime. But number of the beast is 66. And of course, the number of the beast was very relevant to Kobe's career. He scored his record 81 points, Kobe being Bryant 81. His record 81 points in his 666th game. He had the 666 workout, and he died in a helicopter, which has Gematria of 666. And in the same book where I wrote about Kobe Bryant, I wrote a lot about Donald Trump and all the 666 rituals he does with helicopters. So, again, this knowledge, it connects a lot of dots. During the live broadcast, if you were paying attention, I documented ESPN said their subscribers were 6.66 million. And as someone who routinely looks at ESPN's YouTube page doing this research and work for the things they cover on there, never before have their subscribers been 6.66 million, but it was for the Kobe Bryant Live Memorial. Now, if you take the name of the memorial, A Celebration of Life, Kobe and Gianna Bryant, and use the rules of numerology, it's 155. And again, for people calling in, I'm not taking calls right now, but it's 155, and that's important because it's a lot like 15/5, May 15th, which is the day the Boule was established, May 15th, 1904. And again, their official name is Sigma Pi Phi, which is 55. Boule's 55. This tribute's on the 55th day of the year. And remember, from their establishment date, May 15th or 15/5, to Kobe's death was 257 days, which of course connects to Los Angeles Lakers 257. It also connects to 55. 257 is the 55th prime number. And 224, add those numbers together, 2 plus 24, you get 26. Boule's 26, Bryant's 26. I suspect Jordan 26 is probably a member of the Boule as well. But again, I got to admit, Michael Jordan seemed pretty sincere, you know. He had the most sincere response to Kobe's death that I've seen. And I'm not sure if Michael Jordan's really crying because he's sad that Kobe's gone, or, well, I'm sure that's part of why he's crying, or if he's crying because he knows what a criminal organization he works for, and maybe he might even be somebody who had to sign off on Kobe's death, especially considering the fact that Kobe died a span of 23 days from number 23, Jordan's birthday. So, on this same day that the memorial's happening, one of the headlines is that Vanessa Bryant, this is going on at the same time as the memorial, Vanessa Bryant, Kobe's wife, who's a big part of the ritual. Again, if you've missed the 12 or 13 or 14 videos I've already done on Kobe's death, we've talked a lot about how Kobe Bryant's death is perfectly synced with Vanessa Bryant, which is only possible if these people are in arranged marriages, which is something I've been saying they are since way before this happened. But anyway, She files this lawsuit against the helicopter company, Island Express Helicopters. And look at their name, 115, like Masonic, like killing. The Boule is a Masonic organization. And how old is the Boule right now? They're 115 years old. May 15th, 1904. They turned 115, May 15th, 2019. They'll turn 116, May 15th, 2020. So right now they're 115 years old and months. And remember, this whole thing with the pilot, Arazobayan, we've been on this since day one. In the most pure cipher, Kobe Bryant 41 like Arazobayan. And for the first time ever, I saw Arazobayan's full name today. His full name is Ara George Zobayan, right here. Ara George Zobayan. Look at his name in the 4-base ciphers. 161, like Los Angeles. 80 and 82, like Bryant is 80 and 82. By the way, Boule is also 80. Martin Luther King Jr., member of the Boule, dead 80 days after his birthday. If you missed the videos I put out on Gematria Effect News, you're on Gematria Effect Sports right now. Gematria Effect News is the channel YouTube takes down all the time. It's on its 20th edition. But if you missed the videos I've done on Martin Luther King Jr., how his daughter died on the Boule's birthday, how his brother, his nephew, his mother, his father, they were all dead in accordance with the Boule numbers, synced up with the Boule. Again, another member of the Boule. Check that out. MLK died 80 days after his birthday. Think about how they have LeBron play every year on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and LeBron's got the Boule tattoo on his chest. King James, Martin Luther King. But anyway, look at this guy's name again. 161 like Los Angeles, 80 and 82 like Bryant, 80 like Boule, 271, that's the 58th prime number. Remember, Kobe Bryant's 58, Los Angeles Lakers is 58, Tetragrammaton's 58. The Tetragrammaton's the 4-letter name of God. Kobe falls to 4th in scoring and dies the next day. Who passed him? King James. Freemasonry equals 58, Rosicrucian 58, Secret Society 58, the real King James died at age 58. Again, Tetragrammaton's 58. The actual 4 letters of the Tetragrammaton, if you add them together, equal 26. Like God, like Bryant. LeBron James, he came in with 33,000 X and 26 points. The reason I say X is because I can't remember which 100 it was. I can't remember if it was 526, 626, but it was 33,000 some 126 points to Philadelphia before he passed Kobe. And remember, he passed Kobe the day before. And that was 26 days after LeBron's birthday. And again, Bryant's 26. We talked about all these things before LeBron even passed and before Kobe even died. So you can go back and check out those videos. It's all perfect ritual. It's all perfectly scripted. It's not an accident that LeBron came in on 26 at the end of his point total before passing Bryant, who would die the next day on the 26th. So these are the main things I caught from the memorial. Very clear that this is synced with the Boule, which again is a black Masonic order, the oldest in the nation. Again, it literally just couldn't be any more obvious that this is how it's all being done. Especially with LeBron with the tattoo on his chest. But here's another thing. Or actually, let's talk a little bit more about the Boule. For people who watch this video, this will be a little bit redundant. But then the next thing I'm going to get into is Harvey Weinstein being found guilty of rape in Los Angeles today. His name equals 80 and 82 like Bryant. Plus there's a few other things that we'll get to. But think about how Kobe was accused of rape once upon a time. Again, we talked about the presentation done by Bishop Larry Gaithers and how he claims that Kobe was brought into the Boule during the time of the rape accusations. He's saying that it was a member of the Boule that set up Kobe for the whole rape story. So on this same major day as this giant Boule ritual, you have Harvey Weinstein, the movie mogul, being found guilty after these years of accusations. And just what are the odds that these things fall on the exact same day? So we're going to cover that in a minute. But just to go back, again, Sigma Pi Phi has 126 chapters. What day did Kobe die? January 26th. Their new headquarters are in Atlanta, Georgia, where the college basketball championship is this year. And I'll just show you something real quick, just to show you how connected everything is, how perfect all the rituals are. We're going to measure from Kobe's death, January 26th, to the date of the college championship this year. By the way, this is the 82nd tournament this year. It's the 82nd tournament this year. Bryant equals 82, right? But from his death to the championship game in Atlanta, Georgia, where the Boule is now headquartered. It was originally headquartered in Philly. It's now in Atlanta, which is where Martin Luther King Jr.'s family's from. But from his death to the championship is 71 days. That's the 20th prime number. Of course, it's 2020. But the more important thing is that March Madness equals 71. Some of you might have been following a couple years ago where before the tournament began, I said why North Carolina would beat Gonzaga and it'd be all about 71, and 71 might even be the winning score. Lo and behold, North Carolina did beat Gonzaga, and they beat them with 71 points. That year, the bracket for March Madness came out on the 71st day of the year. Big number with Gonzaga. Gonzaga is 71. Gonzaga Bulldogs is 71. They're a Catholic school. Catholic is 71. Kobe Bryant was traveling from his Catholic mass, supposedly, when he died. But again, just coming back to this Boule thing, we hit a lot of this already. Kobe died a span of 257 days from the Boule establishment. The 55th prime number, Sigma Pi Phi is 55, Boule is 55. Today, February 24th, the day of the memorials, the 55th day of the year, Gianna Bryant, 126, like the day she died. Bryant and Boule, 26. The helicopter that Kobe was flying in, an S-76 after the 76ers ritual. The man it was named after died on 1026, another 126, the same day that Al Bryant of the Temptations died. Again, entertainment's deadly business. If you watch the end of the memorial, they showed the Dear Basketball poem. Remember, Dear Basketball with the alphabetic orders 113. Kobe Bryant's 113, Michael Jordan's 113, Utah Jazz's 113, the only team in the league that sums to 113 who Kobe played his last game against. That last game was synced with the murder of Moses Malone, who died at age 60, 213 days before Kobe played his last game, scoring 60 in the 213 area code. Moses Malone drafted out of high school like Kobe, drafted by Utah. Anyway, this guy, though, his name, even 126. That's how perfect they got their rituals. No doubt he died by the numbers once upon a time. And here's Al Bryant of the Temptations, dead on 10/26 as well. Again, Kobe, he died a span of 111 days from the upcoming Boule birthday. Helicopters 111. And from the Boule's establishment, May 15th, to Kobe's birth, 101 days. Kobe born in Philadelphia like the Boule. Philadelphia 101. 101's the 26th prime. And, Kobe died along Highway 101. His last career game, the Lakers scored 101. He came off the court with 4.1. The rest of his team scored 41, where he scored 60, like Moses Malone died at 60. And, again, I've covered so many of these things so many times. Why LeBron passed with the 54th points. Again, I put out the significance of 54 before LeBron even passed, scoring the 54th points. Kobe being Bryant, 54. It was 25/1, like 251, the 54th prime. The predicted programming for Kobe's death in Legends of Chamberlain Heights, where the middle cartoon characters wearing the number 54, like how Wilt Chamberlain died before the 54th NBA season, which the Lakers won the championship for 251 days after his death, the 54th prime. And, of course, he died in Bel Air, being from Philly. Wilt Chamberlain, like the Fresh Prince from Philly to Bel Air. And Bel Air Academy, which Will Smith wore. The jersey for in Fresh Prince equals 54. It's all perfect ritual. But coming back to this Boule thing, Kobe Bryant's father, Joe Jellybean Bryant, from Philly, he was 65 years old at the time of Kobe's death. Philadelphia, 65. Philadelphia was established on the day, leaving 65 days left in the year. And from the Boule's birthday to Joe Jellybean Bryant's birthday, which is October 19th, 54. From the Boule's birthday that year to his birthday was 157 days. And remember, Kobe Bryant's 157, so was Staples Center, so was Accident, so was Jelly Bean, his nickname. Kobe died on his 157th day of his age. That day, the only Scottish wrestler to win the WWE Royal Rumble, Drew McIntyre, won it. And remember, on January 23rd, the only Scottish basketball player to ever play in the NBA was found dead at age 39. It was the 33rd Royal Rumble, Kobe, with the alphabetic orders 33. Kobe also died 5 months and 4 days into his age, or 22 weeks and 3 days. Philadelphia with the alphabetic order in reverse is 223, just like the phrase, the synagogue of Satan is 223. In Revelation, there's a letter written to the church of Philadelphia about the synagogue of Satan, the false Jews. At the whole time this thing's going on, a Cleveland football player gets busted for 157 pounds of weed wearing number 78 when Kobe was born in 78. Cleveland 78, 33. Kobe's 33. LeBron James, King James, big Cleveland basketball star. He was the 33rd player to be down 3-1, first to ever come back in the NBA. Won it on the real King James's birthday, which was an easy call. Won people a fortune that year, just understanding how it's all rigged and scripted by the same repetitive numbers. Remember, they set the target score this year for the All-Star game. They didn't play with a shot clock, or they played with a shot clock. They didn't play with a game clock. They had a target score, so the first team to score 157 this year won, which was Team LeBron. You can measure from LeBron's birthday, December 30th, to the start of the NBA Finals. Here, I'll just show you right now. 12/30/2019 to June 4th, 2020. That's LeBron's birthday. If you doubt it, look it up. That is the start of the NBA Finals. If you doubt it, look it up. From LeBron's birthday, his 35th, King James equals 35, to Finals, 157 days. It's also 5 months and 5 days, or 22 weeks and 3 days. But 157's all over this thing. Again, Kobe did the predictive programming, the Black Mamba film for Nike with Kanye West. And got the exploding helicopter on there. It says you lose this road game, you don't go home. Another 157 right after the Lakers lose the road game in Philly. And I forgot to make the point, but it came back to my mind. Again, if you've seen this short film, Bruce Willis' character is talking about how he works for his boss, and his boss deals in souls, but he also accepts shoes. And of course, shoes have soles on them. In the Dear Basketball short film / poem that Kobe Bryant won an Oscar for by the numbers, which is covered in my book, in that poem, what does Kobe say? Kobe says he gave up his spirit and soul for basketball. Remember, Kobe died on a date with 67 numerology. Soul is 67. He died in Calabasas, 67. That's the blood sacrifice number, 67. It was synced up with Will Smith, the Fresh Prince. Fresh Prince is 67. Synced up with King James, King 67. King of the West, West 67. Remember, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is, I forgot Prince. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is 123. He died 123 days after Will Smith's birthday, or 4 months and 1 day. And in one season of The Fresh Prince, Will Smith did wear the number 41. There's so many 41s on Kobe's death again. The pilot's name, Alicia Keys, is 41. He died 41 days after Joanne busted the Lakers. He died on the 41st day of the Pope's age. He died a span of 41 days from Shaq's upcoming birthday. And again, it was just a big number throughout his career. When he scored 81, his team scored 122. So the rest of his team scored 41 points. When he scored 60 in his last game, the rest of his team scored 41. His last game, he comes off the court with 4.1 seconds left. You know? That last game, he was guarded by number 41, who has a nickname Mamba as well, of the Utah Jazz. In the predictive programming with Kanye West, when he throws the basketball bomb at the helicopter, you see it count down, and then you don't see it count down past 4.1. That's where it edits to it being thrown at the helicopter, which blows up. Again, huge number with Kobe's career. All of this stuff was foreshadowed, scripted, planned. and by the you-know-whos. And it was no accident that Jimmy Kimmel... Hold on, I forgot to cover that part. I forgot to cover the part about Jimmy Kimmel being the host of this event, who was born James Christian Kimmel. And notice his full name is 86, like a celebration of life, which was the main title for today's... Whoops. Again, what they had up there, a celebration of life. Kobe and Gianna Bryant. A celebration of life, 86. Supposedly they took off from John Wayne Airport. Remember when the cartoon came out with the predictive programming of Kobe dying in the helicopter for Chamberlain Heights? That came out November 16th, 2016. That was Kobe's 86th day of his age. I'll show you this real quick. Kobe's birthday is August 23rd. Again, it came out 11/16/2016. That was 85 days after Kobe's birthday. Basketball's 85. But if you count the span, it was 86 days. His 86th day of his age. And what else is interesting when I go back to the 85 days is notice it's 2 months and 24 days as well. Again, 85 is relevant. Basketball's 85. Atlanta, Georgia's 85. First March Madness was in 1985. Last year, Virginia won it with 85 points on 59 shots. And if you weren't with me last year, I told you on February 8th that one of two teams would win the college championship last year. I said it would be either Virginia or Duke. And I told my people on Patreon I'd put in a future for both teams, and I'd cheer for Virginia because they're the better payout. Before the tournament began, we were able to zero in and see that Virginia was the team to win it. But on February 8th, you had the story of Justin Fairfax raping a woman at Duke. It was exactly 59 days before the championship date. And I pointed out, I said, look at how this is perfectly synced with the championship. Plus his name's 85 like basketball, like how the first March Madness was in 85. Go look at Virginia's box score last year from the championship game. They took 59 shots and scored 85 points. Can't make it up. 100% factual. And the reason we were able to zero in on Virginia before the tournament started is because I was watching Tony Bennett, their coach, to see how many losses he'd be on. You see how Virginia's 89? Virginia Cavaliers is also 89. We're doing the same thing for the tournament this year if you want to sign up for Patreon. Tony Bennett stayed on 89 career losses by winning the tournament and getting 0 more losses, again, winning it. He picked up his 90th loss this season. So, again, it's all perfectly scripted. It's all perfectly scripted. This knowledge allows you to see through what's going on. But remember who Jimmy Kimmel is. He's a you-know-who. And where does he broadcast from? The Masonic Temple of Hollywood. Who works by the code of letters and numbers? Masons, because they're based in Kabbalah. Kabbalah states God created the world with letters, numbers, and words. And it's funny how I say that in every video, and people always ask the question, why do they do this? It's like, well, did you watch and listen? You got to watch and listen so you don't ask things that I already answered. You know what I didn't do? I didn't measure from Jimmy Kimmel's birthday to today, and just out of curiosity, I got to take a peek. You know what? I already know what it is, man. I already know what it is. You know how I know what it... I already know why Jimmy Kimmel's doing it. Man, November 13th is the 317th day of the year. Look at this. 317, the 66th prime, which they encoded all over this thing. Again, I didn't see the whole ceremony, but every single detail I saw of it had 66 coded on it. So they even got the dude from the 317th day of the year. But again, it's just sick when you look at it and you just get what they're doing. Again, it's the 74th NBA season. Jewish is 74, so is Masonic, so is occult. Remember how the season began with the Zion Williamson sweepstakes on May 14th, 2019? That was the anniversary of the Jewish nation, Zionist Israel. Again, Zion Williamson in the most pure cipher. 74. Kobe Bryant was born in 78. Boule was 74 years old at the time. Boule's a Masonic organization. Masonic 74. Boule's also 115 years old right now. Jewish is 74. Bishop Larry Gaithers says that the purpose of the Boule is to protect the Baphomet system or the Luciferian order. And Lucifer has that 74 connection as well as 115. And again, this ritual perfectly sync with the Boule. in their 115th year of existing. Also, the Boule, the day they were established, May 15th, the 135th day of the year. Remember, Kobe being Bryant's 135. He died a span of 135 days from Kanye West's birthday, who again is part of this predictive programming. Kobe's now buried in Corona del Mar, and Corona del Mar, California, 135. Central Intelligence Agency's 135. Gina Cherry Haspel's 135. That's the head of the CIA right now. The headlines about her becoming the head of the CIA were on May 13th, and then she was officially confirmed May 17th, but May 13th is 13/5. Kanye West has those lyrics in Click about being, he's just talking to the head of the CIA, George Tenet, the other day. Something about a Maybach, blah, blah, blah. Anyway. Philadelphia, the date of its establishment, October 27th, 1682, date with 135 numerology. Revelation 3:7, the letter written to the Church of Philadelphia about the key of David, the instrument of prophecy, the key of David, 135. Always a big number with Philly sports, 135. Fly Eagles Flies, 135. Just go back and look at the history of Philadelphia sports. You'll see 135s all over. Carson Wentz has the rookie record, no interceptions until his 135th pass. All over the place. And again, Boule's 80, Bryant's 80, Satan's 80, Bavarian Illuminati's 80. Bishop Larry Gaithers again says the Boule, they are the protectors of the Baphomet system. Baphomet's also 80. It's also 37 like Bryant. Bryant died on his 157th day of his age, the 37th prime. Revelation 3:7, the letter to the Church of Philadelphia about the synagogue of Satan. Churches of Satan have Baphomets in them. And the reason the 136 is up here is because May 15th in a leap year, like this year, also like 1904, the year they were established, is the 136th day of the year. So Bishop Larry Gaithers doesn't know Gematria. He mentions it, but explains that he doesn't really know how to use it. But everything he's saying is backed up by applying this code. And again, Martin Luther King Jr., member of the Boule, was killed 80 days after his birthday. The Synagogue of Satan from Revelation 3, about the letter to the Church of Philadelphia, the false Jews. I will make those who are the synagogue of Satan, who claim to be Jews, though they are not, but are liars, I will make them come and fall down at your feet and acknowledge thee. The Synagogue of Satan 223, like Philadelphia. So, anyway. I just did a longer presentation on this, so there is more things to say, but I'm just going to leave it there for that part. And now I want to jump into the Harvey Weinstein thing, because again, we're talking about Hollywood types, we're talking about the city of Los Angeles, we're talking about Kobe Bryant, who was accused of rape, and now we're talking about Harvey Weinstein, who's been accused and now found guilty of rape, on the exact same day as the memorial. And notice, Bryant, 80, 82. Harvey Weinstein, 80, 82. Today's the 55th day of the year. Satan has the Gematria of 55 and 80. Baphomet, 80. And from today to Harvey Weinstein's upcoming 68th birthday is 24 days, like Kobe wore 24. It's also the 24th of the month. Notice rape is 68. Notice Harvey and rapist have a lot in common. I did not mean to paste that there. How did that happen? It was an accident. Whoops. But rape is 68. Basketball is 68. Again, this is 24 days from his 68th birthday, on the same day as Kobe, number 24. And from Kobe's last birthday to today is 185 days. That's interesting because basketball is 185 and 68. Mathematics is 185 and 68. And so Harvey was up against multiple counts. He was found guilty of criminal sexual act against Miriam Haley. I didn't even run these women's names. And then he was found guilty of rape in the 3rd degree. So some of these names are suspicious. Rape against Jessica Mann. Baphomet. Male, female. I gotta check just out of curiosity what Miriam Haley is. Miriam Haley. Well, there's that 66. Today has the 66 date numerology. We talked about that. That was the number coded all over Kobe's thing today. 66 date numerology. The word woman is 66 as well. So that is interesting. The one person name that he's guilty of has a 66 name on the 66 date. I mean, it's not an accident. But notice Harvey and rapist. He's got the right name for a rapist. He's got 79 like rapist. The 34 and 43 are the only ones that don't match, but they're reflections of each other. He's got 83 like rapist and 29 like rapist. And they said the jurors deliberated for 26 and a half hours. That's 1,590 minutes. Scottish Rite is 159, but the 26 really stands out because, again, that's a big Bryant number. 101's the 26th prime. Again, no doubt that this whole thing is synced up with the NBA Finals. This is how it works every year. When you know the code, you realize that all the rituals that go on with the season, they're synced with the start of the season. They're synced with the end of the season. So today, February 24th, the start of the Finals, 6/4/2020, that is 101 days. Just like how Kobe crashed off Highway 101, like how Philadelphia's 101, but fitting in perfectly, Finals is 101. You see? So the ritual's 101 days from the start of the NBA Finals. Go figure. Again, they got this stuff all perfectly calculated out. And for all the people who leave comments like, man, this is impossible for human beings. If you're leaving that comment, I got to send you back to second grade, because all of this is second grade math with a little cleverness and little creativity. But none of this is beyond man. Basic addition and counting days is not beyond man. Sorry, if you think that way, you really should re-enroll in second grade. You should go down to the local elementary school and say, I know I'm older than 6 or 7, but just yesterday I thought addition was impossible, so I think I better re-enroll. But this is how they do it. They got the chessboard set. They've chosen their chess pieces. They've mapped it out. And they're doing it all by the numbers. And also to Bishop Larry Gaither's credit, he just did a video explaining all of the financial schemes that Kobe Bryant was involved with in the market prior to his death. And I wasn't aware of any of this. And I don't understand it well enough because I listened to a 2-hour thing that he did talking about it. But if you look up, again, I don't like this guy's channel, but this is where the video's at. Jason Goodman is the channel, Crowdsource the Truth. He's a you-know-who. But if you go to his channel and just scroll down a little ways and look for Bishop Larry Gaither's Part 2, that's the video to watch. And he spends a long time talking about all the financial schemes and market manipulation going on with Kobe Bryant. And as we've been talking about, the parallels between Kobe being buried in Corona Del Mar at the time of the coronavirus, and then how they changed it to COVID-19, and in Hebrew, COVID equals Kobe. And now on the day of his memorial, the market's having one of its worst days in history. Now I know for sure what Bishop Larry Gaithers was talking about, and he did this over a week ago. I know that he was right on the money saying that Kobe was part of this, market manipulation too, because it's just so obvious. The market's having this god-awful day. Let's see what it finished. It finished down negative 1,031 points. It's kind of like 131. It's kind of like 131, which is the 32nd prime number. Kobe wore 24 and 8. But yeah, that's if you look at the top 10 worst days in Dow Jones history, that's in it. That's in it for sure. So one of the worst days in market history, all of these things at once. And realize it's all the same people. Because the same people that own your sports stadiums, they are part of that mega rich class. They're the same people that own the majority of investment in the stock market. They're the same people that have enough in it to, when they make their withdrawals, the thing collapses. Again, we live in a nation where this is a real stat. 50 people have as much wealth as the bottom 270 million in this nation. 50 people have literally as much wealth as the bottom 270 million. And the reason that's possible is because those 50 people control pretty much everything that everyone's spending their money on. From the same 5 food companies that control pretty much everything in the grocery store, to pretty much all of the entertainment companies you give your money to, whether it's sports games or movie theater tickets or cable companies. A small group of people control pretty much everything in this world, you know? And it's all been done by agenda. It's all been done by agenda. We live in a giant corporation. We live in more of a corporation than a country or a nation, and realize it is the government/corporation that's made the policies that have allowed some companies to get so rich and powerful, that has led to the squeezing out of, honest, regular folks who try to run businesses. Like, for example, all of you who shop at Walmart and stuff, realize when you shop at Walmart, the reason prices are cheaper is because the government subsidizes all their stores, meaning they pay for their stores, they pay for their parking lots. Imagine if I wanted to go start a big store like a Walmart and the government paid for it for me. Wouldn't that be a big head start? Wow, thanks, Uncle Sam, for building me this, gargantuan store for me to sell stuff in. Plus, these same companies are controlling what products get subsidized so that their products are more affordable to consumers. That's why your junk food and your highly processed food is so cheap. It really would cost a fortune if it wasn't all subsidized. The reason you can afford a box of junky chips or sugar smacks and not an organic apple is because of subsidies, not because those are the real cost of things. Realize the super rich manipulate everything about your life. And they steer where you go because they know that you have no money, so you're going to go shop at their Walmart where prices are lower, and you don't shop at local Freddy's or whoever store it is because their prices are a little bit higher. Now, local Freddy's out of business, which is, a big thumbs up for the cabal. Good. One less competition. And here we are in 2020 where that's pretty much where it is worldwide. The same strip malls, the same, shops in everyone's strip mall. You can drive across the whole nation. Everything looks the exact same now. Corporate America. Look at these sports games. The same corporate sponsors in the background. Using the same athletes to sell all their shit. So that's the bigger picture. This is the number of games, how they do their rituals, but you got to see the bigger picture too. If you're watching these videos and then going and shopping at Walmart or whatever, you're contributing to the whole cabal. So I'm sure, Harvey Weinstein will probably never do a day in prison. This is probably as real as it'll ever get here, this cartoon drawing. It's all a show. It's all a show. Harvey Weinstein, he probably really is a rapist. Doesn't matter. He's part of that rich and powerful cabal. He's not going anywhere. So. Let me see. Before we sign off, just a few other things we can talk about today. All you big Bitcoin people that think Bitcoin's the answer. Again, I've been showing you since the beginning. Bitcoin. This story doesn't... I'll show you what's up with Bitcoin here. But just look at stories like this. This was in the headlines yesterday. Drug dealer loses $58 million in Bitcoin. And you know what kind of drug dealer he was? He grew marijuana. Does that make you a drug dealer if you grow plants that grow from the earth? Anyway. Drug dealer loses $58 million in Bitcoin. What's drug dealer equal? 58. Like Freemasonry, like Rosicrucian, like secret society, like Kobe Bryant, like Los Angeles Lakers, like the number that they do so many rituals around. And they mentioned down here after the biggest loss in Bitcoin history is $127 million, like Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. The guy who lost $58 million was 49 years old, like Scottish. Remember, Washington's 49, America's 49. Washington, D.C., named after the Scottish Rite Freemason. And who's supposedly credited with creating Bitcoin? A guy that we don't even know if he really exists. Satoshi Nakamoto. What's his name equal? 181, the 42nd prime, like Japan, like Freemason. He's Japanese, supposedly. Nakamoto's 45, like Bitcoin. It's a joke. It is a joke. And what else do they got in the headlines? What else is in the headlines right now? Did you see they remembered Steve Irwin's death? Let me see. Let me pull it up right here. Steve Irwin. On the day that I told people to look out for, February 22nd, which once again was full of celebrity and B-celebrity deaths, every month the date with 4464 numerology comes up, you see celebrity deaths every single month. That's why I predicted every single month, and I'm correct every single month, because it's the same thing. But this year, in addition to a number of people dying on that date by the exact numbers that we call out every month, they even paid tribute to Steve Irwin for his 58th birthday. Steve Irwin died when he was 44 years old. Kills 44 this year. His birthday fell on a 44 date numerology. Have you ever seen Steve Irwin's birthday commemorated in the news since he died in 2006? I've never seen it happen. Why did they do it this year on his 58th birthday? Again, I'm asking a rhetorical question. Again, it's because these people are sick. They are obsessed with their certain numbers, their rituals. Look at this. Crocodile Hunter, which they emphasize is 170 like sacrifice. Sacrifice is also 62 like Faustian bargain, which is a deal with the devil to sell your soul for material gain and wealth. Like how in Kobe's Dear Basketball poem, he says that he sold his spirit and soul for basketball. I'm telling you right there. Irwin, 62. And what day did Steve Irwin die? September 4th. That's Beyonce's birthday. I'll show you something about Beyonce in a moment. Beyonce got her 24th Grammy the day Kobe died, number 24. And remember her husband, Jay-Z, Kobe Bean Bryant, 54. Jay-Z was on his 54th day of his age when Kobe died. But the day Steve Irwin died, Beyonce's birthday, the day leaving 118 days left in the year. There's a fateful death every year on this date, September 4th. Pay attention. In Jewish Gematria, 118's death. For years before I knew that, I was documenting all these 118s in death. I was like, there's something about this number in death. Then I learned Jewish Gematria. I was like, this is what it is. This is why. But Steve Irwin, dead at 44. His birthday this year fell on the 64-44 date, which also had 24 date numerology this month. Kills 64-44-28. You might have heard the death about the flat earther Rocket Man. Mad Mike Hughes, he died at age 64. He died exactly 28 weeks after the film Rocket Man came out about him. And he was a daredevil, which equals 44. That's what he identified as, a daredevil. So a 64-year-old daredevil, 64-44, dead exactly 28 weeks after the film was made about him. And I actually took the time to watch that film after his death. And it's obvious that he was just some pawn on the chessboard. I mean, he essentially did nothing besides ride in the rocket. He had a team of people around him that built the rocket. He had no money to fund it himself. They don't tell you in the movie where the money came from to build that rocket. It just goes to show he was just a pawn on the chessboard, used as a pawn. Mad Mike Hughes, the Rocket Man. Again, if you want to watch the film, it's on Amazon. You'll see in the film, he was very poor. He was not very bright, which was also very obvious from watching the film. All you really learned about him was that he liked cats a lot. He liked cats and he had women problems. And he had a team of people around him who had the money that knew how to build rockets. And then, lo and behold, they promote it like he built the rocket. No, this guy was just used as a pawn, and if he really died, he was also a ritual sacrifice synced up with that movie. But coming back to Steve Irwin, who died at age 44, the kill number, what killed him supposedly was a stingray. And notice stingray's got the gematria 113, 103, 49, just like Scottish. Look at his full name, Stephen Robert Irwin, 103. Big number there that they use all the time in D.C. Impeachment inquiry equals 103. That came out on September 24th last year. Trump's 103rd day of his age. Again, they use these numbers ritualistically again and again. 103 is the 27th prime. Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter died on the 103rd birthday of the Boule. Yolanda's 27. Again, 103 is the 27th prime. But just all around. NASA said she died in the past week, but they announced the death today. And remember, 101's coded all over the Kobe ritual today. Who controls NASA? Well, of course, Freemasonry controls NASA. It was established in 58, not by accident. Freemasonry, Rosicrucian, Secret Society, all 58. All the astronauts to travel into space have been Freemasons. This date, July 29th, 1958, has 113 numerology, number of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. The Scottish Rite headquarters in D.C. have the shrine to NASA. And remember, it's the same people who run the NBA, too. Kobe Bryant is 113 in the same cipher that Scottish is. Kobe Bryant, 113. Michael Jordan, 113. Scottish, 113. The National Basketball Association, run by... Gotta spell it right. The National Basketball Association 113, run by who? Jews, the most Jewish branch of Freemasonry is the Scottish Rite. Anyway, come back to this story. Where'd it go? So they announce her death today at 101, right? It's 224, 2 plus 24, 26. They said she died in the past week. I'm guessing she probably died on the 4464 date, which was 222. And maybe they'll eventually put this information out. I wonder why they're not saying what day she exactly died on, probably because we're calling this shit out. But they're saying she died in the last week. And if she did die Saturday, which was the 4464 date, 2/22, Hidden Figures, the movie she was remembered for, is 222. And from the day that movie came out, January 6, 2017, to her announced death is 163 weeks and 3 days. Let me think about that. Well, anyway, 163 is the 38th prime. Death is 38. So, did she die on 2/22 is what I want to know. Today's date has 46 numerology like sacrifice. 101's the 26th prime. Space is 26. 2 plus 24 is 26. From her birthday, which is on the 26th of August. She's born 3 days after Kobe. From her birthday to the announcement, Wikipedia is saying she died today, but again, read all the articles. They're saying she died in the last week. NASA confirmed her death today. But it's 26 weeks also from her death to the announcement. And again, Bryant's 26, and he died on the 26th. Like I've said for years, and I've proven for years, when you look at the news as a whole, the stories that are coming through, even though they don't seem related, you'll see how they're all centered on the same numbers. Today's 101 days to the start of the NBA Finals. Kobe died along Highway 101. Philadelphia's 101. Again, the 26th prime. Again, it becomes self-explanatory who's responsible for all of this. Freemasonry works by the code of letters and numbers and dates. Freemasonry controls NASA. Freemasonry, all the American sports are credited to. You look at, the people in these leagues, the people who own these teams, they're Freemasons. It's not hard to see who's weaving the web. You got to be blind not to see it, especially when it's explained to you like this. So, Boule, where we began, Boule is a Masonic order. There's a lot of different Masonic orders. There's all sorts of different branches of Masonry. All fraternities and sororities are Masonic. And again, just because you're part of one of these fraternities doesn't mean you're a bad person, but it's just realize what you're a part of. Realize what greater network you're a part of and what these greater networks are ultimately doing. So, there's always more, but we'll leave it there, Truth Seeker. And you know what? Before I get off, if anybody wants to call in, just in case somebody saw something in the memorial I missed, since I didn't see the whole thing, if you do call in, make sure you talk about the things I'm talking about, which is mostly Kobe Bryant. But if you want to call in, the number is 509-731-0567. Again, 509-731-0567. I'll take 15 minutes of calls, and then we can wrap it up. So, while I wait to see if anybody calls in, again, I'll just remind people about the 4-base ciphers and Kobe Bryant. Again, Kobe Bryant 113, like Utah Jazz, like Dear Basketball in the same cipher. His retirement poem was Dear Basketball. He played his last game against the Utah Jazz. Michael Jordan's 113 in that cipher. Kobe made his NBA debut November 3rd, 11/3. He was drafted round 1, pick 13 overall, 113. Dead at 41, dead on his 157th day of his age, and I think we pounded home the point about 58. Caller?
113, like you.
Caller, you got to mute the video. What's up?
What's up?
What's up, man?
Hey, I wrote down some things that I came across that link in. On the site there, the Gators guy, that second part gets pretty wild with all the money and everything. But the one that jumps out right away is his guy, the Steeble Bryant venture fund. The first thing I looked at, boom, the date on it that they went public was 8/22/2016, which equals 66. They picked that day, not 8/20. Anyway, now here's some numbers. The guy's name is Steeble, Stibel. numbers are 67, 22, 95, and 41. So the 41's right there.
Los Angeles Lakers is 95. He crashed on the 67 date numerology in Calabasas, which is 67. So all those numbers fit in. Basketball is 22.
And then I was talking to you the other day. Don't forget the 33rd congressional district. That's a lot of people seem to miss. I don't know why.
Well, because I mean that detail was hardly reported anywhere. But you're saying Kobe crashed in the 33rd congressional district, okay?
Yeah, which is Calabasas area there. I forget the congressman's name right now in that area. And then the 1,085, and you add that up, is 14, which is a mirror. And then Jeff Stiebel is, to get the two names together, the numbers pop 40, 59, 94, 176. I don't know if that means anything. And here's some interesting numbers on his books. The Weisenard series, Weisen with a Z, Weisenard, 40, 22. Or, I'm sorry, Weisenard series. And then his other book is Ipaka, which I don't know what that is. It's some weird name. Ipaka, the tree of Ekroth. And Ekroth, I think, is force spelled like the mirror.
Yeah, I'm going to decode all this stuff myself. I'll do a decode on this. I haven't gotten to it yet. But if you just look at the cover,
cool.
If you look at the cover of that book, if you look at the cover of that book, let me talk for a second. All right. If you look at the cover of that, dude, every time I talk, you start talking. Let me talk. Every time you look at the cover, if you look at the cover of Kobe's book, that Epoch one, you see a tree going up and a tree going down, just like the tree of life. The positive tree of life goes up, the negative tree of life goes down. That's called the Clipoth, which is about like spell casting and hurting people. He has that right on the cover of his book. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, his series is, I can clearly see it's full of witchcraft and all this weird wizardry stuff. And that's what, the bishop was hinting to that too, that he went off the edge after the rape and really went onto the dark side. But yeah, so there's a lot there just from me looking real basically. I only talk over you because I think there's a delay. It's like I should say over.
Because you should be talking in the phone, not through the video.
Over. Well, I'm on the phone, but I'm on delay, I think.
Okay.
And so then one other quick thing I noticed, Zach, the other day, when Trump speaks at the podium lately, Trump text. Underneath it says text 88022.
Perfect. Trump 88. Yeah, exactly.
Well, and then the 22, the master builder number.
Well,
right?
if you add it together, it's 110, and president equals 110.
Anyway, so yeah, there's a lot there. It's way cool. I was hoping you would come down here today, but I guess you couldn't make it over. But it's all good.
I'll be down there for Kobe Bryant Day. I'm coming down. I'll be in LA on Kobe Bryant Day.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant Day. Well, and then there's also that Stiebel guy in the heck of a background. He was at like Tufts and Brown. He's into artificial intelligence, and he's a real brainiac. Then he writes. He submits papers for Harvard. He also went to MIT, but I think his main focus is what he calls brain science. I was telling you that the other day. He has this thing like similar to kind of the Elon Musk, where you're going to interface the computer with your brain and all this craziness.
All right.
Anyway, so
appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Some cool stuff, man.
All right, appreciate it, man. Take care.
Later, bye.
Okay, a lot of people are calling in. I can only take one call at a time. But again, if you take Kobe's full name, Kobe Bean Bryant, again, dead a span of 135 days from Kanye West, who he did the predictive programming with. Now he's buried in Corona Del Mar 135. He died 5 months and 4 days into his age, a day after LeBron passed him, scoring the 54th points of the game, 166th game. What's up, caller?
Hey, what's up? My name's Josh from Ohio. And I don't know if you realize at the ceremony for Kobe, they had Michael Jordan. He was talking about him, and he was like bawling, crying up there.
That's where I started. Yeah, I know.
And just like you said, Jordan 26, Kobe 26.
Right. Yeah, watch the beginning of the video once this is over. I know you got here late because that's where I started, was with Jordan, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make it short. Great talking to you, dude. Like the work you do. I followed you after the Falcons and Super Bowl games. I was kind of just like, wow. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
I try to tell all my friends, people at my school, they all doubt it because they don't even want to look at it because they don't want to think something's scripted, put together, because they watch it their whole lives and they've been into it their whole lives. They can't just say something's scripted. And, I try.
That's just how it is, man. People are dumb. I realized it when I was little that people were dumb. That's why I was like, I don't belong in school. This is a place for dumb people. So.
Yeah, that's what I straight tell them. Like, you guys are like legit stupid. It's just like math class. You guys ain't trying. You guys are gonna understand nothing.
Yeah, it's a society of lemmings and losers. It really is. So.
Like, dude, if you watch any of these games, like if you go back years in football, it's just one big call and it changes the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be dumb to not see how sports are rigged. I mean, just even the calls the officials make. I mean, the worst officials in any sport are at the professional level, which should just be impossible. You know, if you're a bad official at like a high school level, you'll never make it to varsity. Never. They won't even let you do JV games. They'll have you work in the YMCA games on the weekend. People know if you're a bad official if you make bad calls. Yet professional officials just get away with murder every week. I mean, there's just no way.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, dude. I've been following you for probably 5 years now, and these officials been doing this stuff for how many years? 25, 30 years, and they can't make one good call when it's obvious?
Anybody who's an actual official, like I officiated sports in high school. By the way, for high school people looking to make money, get into officiating. It pays well. I was officiating JV games when I was in high school. I mean, you can make like $80 a game. So.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, dude. I just want to make it short, so I'm going to let you go, dog.
All right, man. Take care. Caller?
Hey, Zach.
What's up?
Hey, last night in the Lakers-Celtics game, the leading scorer was Jason Tatum with 41 points. And
Kobe trained Tatum, yeah.
Yep, and he's got the 33 and 66 in his name. And, I mean, what are the odds the Lakers and Celtics split a day before the funeral?
All right, the two teams that have 33 combined championships.
Yep.
So...
Yep,
oh, my God. I just had to look at the score yesterday. So the Lakers won with their infamous 114. LeBron James equals 114. And the reason LeBron James equals 114 is because if you look up the real King James's birthday, it's June 19th. 619 is the 114th prime number. Oh, duh. And with all the 66 stuff, I'm tripping, man. LeBron James is 66. LeBron is 66. Lakers is 66. Because, again, that's the number coded all over the ceremony today is 66. Again, today has 66 date numerology. They did Moonlight Sonata 66, the tribute to Lower Merion 66. They had Jordan of the Boule speak 66. The thing was called A Celebration of Life, Kobe and Gianna Bryant, which is 317, the 66th prime. 66 is the number of the beast. Again, Lakers 66, LeBron 66, LeBron James 66. They had the guy from the Masonic Temple in Hollywood, Jimmy Kimmel, do the ceremony. His birthday is November 13th, the 317th day of the year. That was the obvious 66. I don't know how I forgot that. If you go back and watch or go back and look at the Cavs-Lakers game, here, I'll show people this. The Cavs and Lakers game that was played with LeBron, his last game ever with the Cavs before he joined the Lakers, that game was on March 11th. Here, everyone can... I'm trying to type with one hand because I have to hold the phone with the other. But that game was March 11th, 1-1-3... What year was that? 2018. And the Cavs lost with 113 points, and it was exactly 113 days before LeBron signed with the Lakers on July 1st. But for both teams, it was their 60. Here it is right here. So March 11, 2018, I got it up on the screen. The Cavs became 38 and 28 in that game, so 66th game. The Lakers became 30 and 36, 66th game. Again, Lakers, LeBron James, all 66, and 113 points, that big number. And this was exactly 113 days from the day LeBron signed, which was July 1st. So, again, just for all the people who doubt that they script stuff this way, I mean, you can prove it every single day, literally. Every single day you can prove it. That's why anyone who doubts it, I mean, they can be proven wrong every single day that they doubt it, as I've done for over 6 years straight, proving that this is what's done every single day, no exceptions. And, again, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yep, and of course LeBron was the one who hit the game-winning shot, really, with like 30 seconds left, and the Celtics couldn't score to save their life. The Kobe-like shot.
LeBron scored the last points to bring it to 114?
Yep, he did.
And LeBron James 114, number I've talked about his whole career. So. Yep,
and.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, you're spot on also with the Fury fight. I told my friends before to show them, I was like, watch, Fury's going to win.
and I thought that he was going to win in round 10, because round 10, if you type it out, it equals 42. So I thought that would go along, but it was a couple rounds off, but spot on.
Yeah. This knowledge makes seeing through sports easy, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I got. Thank you.
All right. Take care, man. See you.
You too.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I can go on all day about all the scripting of LeBron's career, but just everything. Like, it wasn't an accident that these teams met for their 66th game each. All right, I'm on the wrong one now, but it's not an accident that LeBron put in 114 points last night. It's all scripted to the point. They use technology to ensure the outcomes. What's up, caller?
Yo, what's going on?
You know what's going on, man. What's up?
Bro, I don't know how I found your channel. I really don't even remember, but I have one question, man.
Okay.
You know, you always talk about the American sports being rigged and shit, and
Yeah, the rest of the world is too, if that's your question. So.
bro, besides FIFA and World Cups and all that shit, what about like, you know, club soccer and shit? Is it rigged too, man?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Just if anyone has ESPN, just turn on Scott Van Pelt at the end of every night. He's showing all the games worldwide that screwed bettors with the crazy endings to get on one side of the spread. It's a joke every night. So.
Scott Van Pelt, I gotcha.
Yeah, Jewish guy on ESPN. So it's a mocking of the people what he does every single night. It just, like he was having a field day with the end of the most recent Super Bowl because again they put out a sucker bet that Mahomes would have 35 or more rushing yards, which he already averages more than per game. And at the end of the game, he had 40-some rushing yards. But then what did he do to end the game, Mahomes? Instead of just taking a normal knee like they do every day, he dropped back 5 yards for each knee. So he got negative 15 rushing yards at the end of the game to put all those bettors on the wrong side of the spread. So everyone who thought they'd already cashed in, they lost the game. They lost the bet at the very end. That's called mocking. And for all of the people out there who don't think the players are in on it, again, you got to be brain dead to not think the players are in on the rigging. Every sport they're in on the rigging, it's obvious. It's so obvious. They're all in on it. Again, people are blind, and that's why they can't see the obvious. But yeah, it goes on worldwide. So
shit, the movie Focus with Will Smith in it fucked me up, man.
So remember, Will Smith did that movie Focus, which is about gambling and sports, and it brings in numerology into it, and it's set in not Las Vegas, it's set in New Orleans. And the same night that Will Smith, the actor, was getting the Lifetime Achievement Award from the MTV Movie Awards, where that night they had the stage gold and black like the Saints colors in New Orleans, Will Smith, the football player, was supposedly shot to death. And again, that was a big number ritual. And they did a news story. I wish my channel was still up because I would just show you the video it's in. But I covered the CNN news story that they were talking about the death of Will Smith, the football player. And in the middle of that story, their video presentation, they zoom in on an alarm. I don't know if it's a fire alarm or some kind of alarm on the wall. But on the fire alarm, it says focus. And they just zoom in on that for no reason during the story of this killing of the Will Smith. And I was like, look at that, people. We're already talking about Will Smith and the movie Focus. And now they do this in the CNN news story, zoom in on a fire alarm with the word focus on it. They just clown people with what they do.
But it's all a coincidence, right?
Well, that's what people say. They just think everything's a coincidence.
My man, God bless you, man. You're doing God's work. Keep it up.
Appreciate it, man. Take care.
Take care.
All right, see you. Caller?
Hello?
Yeah, you're wrong.
Yeah, so just wanted to let you know that everything that you've been working on the past, I don't know however long you've been working on it, is all leading to what they're trying to unfold is the apocalypse, which is like the great revealing, and it all has to do with the 112th and 113th Pope, right? I'm sure you know of Malachi Martin and his prediction. Basically, it started long before, but the first big iteration was with The Undertaker in WrestleMania. He was 21-0, and then he lost his first match against the Beast, Brock Lesnar. So he became 21-1. Sorry. He became 21-1. So he was that was the 112 backwards, right? Even with the Wilder and Fury's match, the first match, they sort of they drew at 113 each, And then with the 42 and 1, the Wilder, he ended up 42, 1 and 1. So the 2-1-1 is in there. And then, what else happened? If you look at Kobe Bryant, he was drafted first round, 13th pick. His first game was November the 3rd. If you look at the Super Bowl, you have the touchdown that put the game out of reach happened when it was 1 minute 12 seconds left on the clock. And everything has to do with, like I said, Malachi Martin, Saint Malachi. Look up his prediction of the 112th Pope.
The Jesuits, for the record, operate in 112 countries. So yeah, that's a big number with them.
Right. Exactly. Even all the previous 5, 6 Super Bowls, at one point or another, you would see like either like 3rd down or 11, 1st down and 13, and there was like a crucial play or like the last 3 minutes, 11 seconds or something like that. Game is pretty much over. If you ended up doing additional research based on what I'm kind of letting you know, because it's all geared towards judgment coming on the world stage.
So what do you think they're going to do? What's your prediction for how they're going to do it?
So they could easily sort of have it manifest one or two different ways. But at the end of the day, right, apocalypse is just a great revealing. So it may be an expose as far as like exposing people. Right now they're just exposing sort of like celebrities and stuff like that, but now they're going to expose regular people. They're going to expose like say all these agendas that they've been pushing, and the people that they've been pushing into prominence, like meaning like, the so-called feminists or the spiritual people and stuff like that. They're going to expose all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, in other words, a lot of the people who think that they're woke, that's the next stage, is to sort of have a great revealing that sort of exposes them. Next. That's the next stage. Because in the Bible, right, the first of the 4 horsemen that comes onto the scene, he is considered, the Christians consider him the Antichrist, right? And he is going to come back, and, I don't know if you know about the Persian Mahdi, or he in Persian mythology or Persian theology, which is why they attacked Iran, right? He's supposed to come back, but Christ is going to be his lieutenant, right? In Christian theology, the Christians are waiting on Christ. The Muslims, on the other hand, are waiting on the Mahdi. Christ was supposed to have come already and is coming back, right? But the Mahdi, which is the Muslim savior, has not come already. So they're working for the Mahdi to come for the first time, right? The difference between Christian theology and Muslim theology is that Christ comes back as a sort of soul figure, and he is a powerful figure. He's sort of playing second fiddle, right? And if you look at the big Kobe Bryant ritual, right? Kobe Bryant was not the most prominent figure in basketball. He played a second fiddle to Michael Jordan, right? And if you look at all the surrounding stories, you would see this sort of like number 2 and a number 1 kind of like side by side. So they're playing out this narrative continuously.
Right.
And so yeah, this is, I don't know the exact way they're going to play it out, but I do know, I can see the narrative continuously. So I'd advise you to do research on Iran and the Mahdi, and looking at your work, you already do enough research on Christ and stuff like that, but look into look into the parallels between the Mahdi and Christ, because they're combining these two things. And also look into the 112, 113 Pope, and really kind of centralize your work towards all of that, because that's where it's all headed.
Sure. So just to comment on what you're saying again, 112th and 113th Pope and Apocalypse. Apocalypse equals 113, and just like I'm showing people on the screen, this headline right here from the Express in the UK. On January 13th, 113, they have a story. Pope Francis central to apocalypse prophecy as end of earth reference revealed. And I just want people to see that with the alphabetic order, apocalypse is 113, 41, 157. That's just like Kobe Bryant in those exact ciphers. And remember, the cartoon that has the predictive programming for Kobe Bryant's death is called End of Days from Chamberlain Heights. So...
Right. And even like the major events this year, right? Brexit happened on the 31st of January, right? 31st of January in Europe is written 311, right? Harvey Weinstein, which is like the big rape case that has been going on, he's going to be sentenced on March 11th, 113.
113, huh?
Yep.
They love that number. They use it all the time. So in my book, I write about 113 about 1 million times.
And the reason they love that number is it has to do with Malachi Martin's final prediction of Pope Francis, which is the final pope. And after the said Pope Francis comes on the scene, then the world will be judged and the Catholic Church will be destroyed.
So I'll remind people, Pope Francis is the 266th Pope, 266. The Jesuit motto, IHS, what the IHS stands for in Latin equals 266. It also is 122 the small way, like Pope Francis is 122. But Kobe's death came exactly 266 days after his wife's birthday. And again, he was traveling from Catholic Mass, was the story, and he died on the Pope's 41st day of his age at age 41. So, again, it's all perfect ritual.
Exactly. And let's not forget that Kobe was born in Italy, right? Which is the home of Catholicism.
That is exactly. All roads lead to Rome. And what's the big story for the collapse of the economy today? That Wuhan really got Italy over the weekend. And Italy's one of the world's biggest economies. So because of Italy's economic problems, because of coronavirus, now we have a world economic collapse today. Again, on the Kobe Bryant Memorial Day, who grew up in Italy. Exactly.
Yeah, and not only that, but the stock market crash ended up at 1,031 points. That's 113 in anagram form.
Sure. And just to remind people, the Wuhan, the World Military Games were in Wuhan this past year on October 18th, 2019. That was the same day they had Event 201 simulating the coronavirus outbreak, and they predict it kills over 60 million people in that simulation. But if you look up the history of the Wuhan Military Games, the first one was where? It was in Rome.
Rome, that's right.
Yeah?
It's in Rome. It all leads back to Rome. And even that whole corona thing, right? The word corona itself, right, has to do with the corona borealis, has to do with Greek mythology and with Ariadne, the princess that helped Theseus slay the Minotaur, right? She ended up getting a corona, and because corona means crown, right? And the corona borealis, Ariadne is supposedly in the sky with the corona over her head, right? Why Ariadne is very important to this whole mythology is because Ariadne helped Theseus by giving him a ball of yarn, right? By which he entered the labyrinth that Minos, King Minos, would have his sort of workman Daedalus ended up constructing, and it was through that Theseus was able to sort of maneuver his way into and out of the labyrinth after killing the Minotaur, right? Ariadne is a very important figure because of the fact that not only does she help Theseus slay the Minotaur, but she ends up abandoning her father and her homeland. And then Theseus promised her that he was going to basically sort of marry her and they were going to be together and stuff like that. And he ended up abandoning her, right? After this whole thing. I mean, I could get into how it's all connected, but maybe that's another call. But also look into that, because Corona has links to Ariadne.
Great information, friend. Yeah, you're right on point. I'm sure, see, what's nice is I know there's a lot of people in the world who'd listen to the things you're saying and they'd roll their eyes and be like, yeah, I heard it a million times before. But the nice thing about this gematria knowledge is it takes what you're saying, which a lot of people will disbelieve, and then it gives another layer of evidence to just show how it's all being rolled out according to plan. And for anyone still rolling their eyes, well, at that point, you know, they're the person who deserves to have their eyes rolled at. But yeah, this is exactly what's going on. We're living out a biblical prophecy that's being contrived by a code by the satanic cabal, which is the Catholic Church, which is the you-know-who's in high places. And people need to wake up.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've had people roll their eyes at me. People continue to roll their eyes at me. It doesn't really bother me at this point. I'm not really that big into numbers like you are, but I can see what you're saying based on what I'm experiencing and what I can see based on my studies and philosophy, mythology, and all these things, all the things that I'm fascinated by. And your work just kind of like corroborates everything that I feel like I'm doing on my end. So it was nice to kind of link up and, you know, let you know where all your work is really kind of headed. You know, I would love to see you really kind of just, I guess, pinpoint your work and focus in, because that 112, 113 numbers really kind of just, you know, it is the key by which everything else needs to be sort of just focused.
Indeed. Well, great call, friend. You got a lot of good information. I hope you call us back.
Yep.
All right. Take care,
buddy.
All right. See you. And again, in light of all this stuff being biblical, again, this end of days episode came out on November 16th, 16/11. That's the year the King James Bible was published, 1611. And remember, they call LeBron King James, and he's a huge part of this ritual with Kobe, passing him in his hometown of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Check out Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in Jewish Gematria, which is the most important cipher outside of the base ciphers. It equals, hold on, let me get it up here. It equals 1611. Remember, Kobe from Philly, Wilt Chamberlain from Philly, the cartoon's named after Wilt Chamberlain, Chamberlain Heights. Caller, what's up? You're on.
Hey, what's up? I just wanted to remind everyone real quick that this year's selection, you know, is 999 weeks from 9/11, and a week after that, on 11/9, is 1,000 weeks from 9/11. So I think it's going to be a pretty big year.
Sure, and like I said the day that Trump became president-elect, I said, well, there you go, 45th president-elect, Holy Bible equals 45. The King James Bible was published the year that King James turned 45 years old. And it's the Trump-Pence ticket, Trump-Pence, like the warnings in Revelation are trumpets.
Well, so. And then you had, you know, the 102 minutes of 9/11. Now we got Event 201, and Times Prophecy, I think, is either 102 or 201. But, yeah, it's going to be... They got to have something planned, I'm sure.
Sure. All right,
for
man.
This election. All right, thanks,
appreciate
man.
it. Take care. Caller?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on. What's up?
Hey, thank you. Yeah, I'm really grateful that you're spreading this information. I was just curious. I'm just curious if you have any recommendations, practical recommendations of like, since all this crazy stuff's going on, like, I just really am like at a crossroads of what should I even like do with my life at this point. I don't know. Everything seems so tainted. I'm just curious if you have an opinion on that.
Well, how old are you?
I'm currently 29.
You're 29. Okay.
Yeah,
well, I have to know more about you to tell you what to do, but I mean, I don't know if you have a family or kids, but honestly, what I think everybody should do is, I mean, never panic. Don't let this information depress you, because, I mean, it is depressing, right? But don't let it depress you. Just use it as knowledge and awareness. And ultimately, what we all need to do who are aware of it and understand it is figure out a way to help spread the work, to help wake up those who are willing to wake up. Because, of course, we will meet people who will ridicule us and dismiss us and won't want to be our friends or family anymore. Don't worry about that. Worry about reaching the person who's grateful to find this information, and that person might only be 1 out of 10, but the thing is, those people are out there, and when there are enough people who are awake to the agenda, and really imagine if 10% of America was awake to the agenda. That would be over 30 million people. That's a lot of people. And imagine if you could just get a small percentage of that group of 30 million to collaborate, to go out. Imagine if the 10% of people in LA who are awake were working together today in front of the Staples Center to promote awareness to what's really going on with Kobe Bryant and what we should really be focused on, rather than the sad words of all sellouts who are overpaid to be in the positions they are, who spoke today and didn't really reveal the truth. They just said what a sad day it is, because that's what they want. They want all the emotional energy of the public and the tears. But what people really need to know about today is what's really going on with Kobe Bryant's death, which was no accident. So, I mean, that's what I can say. But I know for a lot of people, they find this stuff out and it's depressing because they don't want to believe that the world's this controlled, but it is. And something needs to be done about it. So
I see. Great. Thank you for that perspective.
Sure, man. Before you go, how long ago did you wake up?
Well, it's definitely been for a couple of years. I realized, like, when I was maybe 16 years old that, like, politics was like, you pretty much get blackmailed once you become any position of power. And yeah, till that point, I went through like different conspiracy theories and just learned more and more. And I've recently discovered your work and Gematria maybe like within the past year. And it's just, of course, it is very depressing. But I'm also still trying to be productive, positive, just productive person. But it is just a little difficult. But I definitely agree that awareness and spreading helps, and it's definitely a valuable thing. I'm just personally like struggling with trying to remain productive and functional, really, just with all these things that are like very provocative to think about. But
here's what I'm going to say. This information is very upsetting to a lot of people because so many of us have grown up in the same world, and that's a world where entertainment's kind of like at the top of the mountain. Like, people are excited to watch the next movie or next TV show or video game or make the next consumer purchase or whatever it is. So many people, like, at the top of their mind, they have things like this going all day. But really, when you're living that way, you're not even really living your own life in a way. It's kind of like your life is a part of something that's not really you. Like, if your life's all about Kobe Bryant and watching him win the next game, that's not really you. I mean, you're watching through the TV, but that's not you. And really, ultimately, I think you'll eventually realize this, is that, like, by getting outside of that matrix, you're like, you know what? I'm not wasting 3 hours of my night watching the sports game tonight or whatever. I have 3 hours to do something like learn an instrument or learn to paint or write something or build something. So, again, I think in time, I mean, we are living in a bad time, and I mean, there are concerns. I mean, there's YouTube channels right now putting out information about how this year, because of the coronavirus, we should expect a collapse and a food shortage and all this stuff. It's possible that things like that are going to happen. I don't let that stuff worry me, though. I mean, if that's going to happen, we're all going to be in that boat together. And the reason we'll all be in that boat together is because not enough people woke up fast enough or helped spread the word fast enough to stop this stage in the game we're at. So instead of like dwelling on what negative things might come, just realize we'll all be in the same boat together. And the thing is, I mean, people always tend to panic and overworry. Like you said, you just woke up a couple years ago. If you would have been here in 2014, that year the whole truth community was preaching that on some date the whole world was going to end. And everyone was buying into it. I was like, guys, the world's not going to end. The people who control the world, they're not planning to just end the world. They have an agenda that goes forward. So, never get in that type of thinking, and there are a lot of people that promote messages like that, but I mean, these people do bad things to humanity throughout time, but they need to be stopped, and they can be stopped. And for all the people who don't think they can be stopped, you're wrong. The reason I know they can be stopped is because look at what they do to me. Look at all the harassment I've been to. Why would they delete my channel 19 times if they didn't think they could be stopped? They don't want this information out there. They know that this information has the power to spread and stop them. That's why they work so hard to censor me and harass me and make me quit at doing this. I won't quit. So they can be beat. That's what people need to realize. They can absolutely be beat.
I see. All right, well, thank you so much for that, your perspective and all your work. I really appreciate it.
All right, man, keep the chin up. Realize you're one of the special ones because you're actually awake and you listen. So it can be depressing, but the world needs people like you, man. So hang in there.
Hey, thank you, man.
All right, take care, man. See you.
Bye.
Yeah, I mean, all right, hold on. We got another caller. Caller?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
I have a quick question. Not a quick question, but like, I know you're like streaming and stuff, right?
I'm streaming, yeah.
But can you mute the stream if you don't mind?
You got to mute your video. Yeah, you got to mute the video.
Like, seriously, it's like a prediction. Hello?
I'm here. I'm listening. What's up?
Are you listening? Is it still on stream? Did you mute it?
I can't mute the stream. My stream's muted. It's your stream that's playing.
Oh, my bad. But the thing about it, I don't want people to hear me because they think I'm crazy or something like that. It's like a prediction, like with like a death. I don't know if I can talk about that. It's like with the rapper. It's like what I understand is not like related to sports as of right now, but I've been wanting to talk to you about it. It's like kind of weird.
Okay.
And it's a rapper like NBA Youngboy. You heard of him, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like,
I've heard
like
of
a
it.
year of death.
Mm-hmm.
And supposedly he like dropped an album. It was like 38 minutes. Hold on, it's too loud. My bad. It's like his album was like what, 38 minutes long or something like that. And I remember you saying like 38 is the number of death or something like that.
It is.
And then he put out a tweet saying, oh, like I think it was 2 years ago. He's like, my greatest album will be like after my death or whatever, right? And he said in the song Old Texas, shit, right? My bad for cursing, but. And then when I typed in that album, it's called like Still Stepping. You type in that album, it equals a certain date. If you get what I'm saying, like it equals like 308, like 38, like the 38 minutes album long.
Right.
And that day, which is 38, is gonna equal his name like as like his whole birthday, right?
Okay.
It's like 141 days. Like that day right there is gonna mark 141 days after his 20th birthday. And it's 38, and that number 38 is like just there. I'm not really like a pro at this, but that's how like I'm looking at the numbers. It looks weird.
Well, I mean, it's entirely possible. I mean, so he has this song that's about death, and then the album's 38 minutes long. And how often have we talked about rappers recently who released an album on like March 8th or August 3rd or a 38 date, and they died at a young age? So I mean, it's entirely possible. So yeah, I remember you said that.
I don't know if you want to get into that or make a prediction because of my opinion, I think it's going to happen. I typed in the album equal 308, 38. The album was 30 minutes long. That's almost impossible. It blows my mind. That's almost impossible. But most people would say it's a coincidence, but it's really not. 38 minutes long, that's very rare. They call him 38 Baby as well.
They call him. Oh yeah, I actually. He was actually in the news, something about herpes the day that Juice WRLD died. I remember this now, and the picture was him wearing that big gold chain with the 38 on it. So I remember that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if you want to come to the conclusion. I know you're like the master of this Gematria stuff, but that's what I'm thinking. I don't do videos like this. I don't do that. I was looking into it. I was watching the thing with Pop Smoke. I already had a feeling, my personal opinion, that had to be an inside job. So
and that was another big 38 thing. Remember Pop Smoke equals 38, and then he died renting the house with a 38-year-old daughter of John Mellencamp, and he died on the 50th day of the year, and he looks just like 50 Cent, and his last name's Jackson like 50 Cent, and 50 Cent's first song was How to Rob, and 50 Cent just finished a show Power where he kills his own son in it, so yeah, it's a big ritual there with Pop Smoke.
I sound kind of nervous too, because that's actually like scaring me. Like with like not like just people dying, like me predicting the death. It sounds crazy. You feel me? It sounds weird, but like it makes sense. Like if you're 20 years young, and they always say what you should be saying. What the 27 Club? You don't make it past 21. All types of stuff like that. Like you get what I'm saying? And he even straight up the other day talking about I'm only 20 years old doing this shit. You can't tell me nothing. Something like that.
Yeah.
He got, whatchamacallit, he got 238 videos. I think it's going up now, though. It was 238 videos, I think. Keep saying 38 and 38 is death or something like that. And he said in one of his songs, Suicide, that's 34. I think he's related, like, with Birdman or something, and any type of, like, label or something like that, that you go 34. Right. That's another, whatchamacallit, thing for Suicide. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know, man. If you want to do a video on it, I think it's possible. You can remember the call, whatever. I don't know if I should tell you my Twitter. I don't know. But
well, you can put out your Twitter if you want. So I'll just say this. I'll just say this. I don't like to make specific predictions for who's going to die on what day, but I'll always say what days to look out for the celebrity deaths because I know which days to look out for. The only time I really tried to predict a single person's death, well, for Prince, I saw his death coming because it was very clear. His former girlfriend, Vanity, died the day of the 58th Grammys and Purple Rain's 58. And again, there was a lot that synced up with Prince's death, so I saw that coming. I thought Bob Dylan was going to die a few years ago, and when I talked about that with Bob Dylan, he didn't die, but there were like 3 headlines within a few weeks after I said that of like a band member his died, his former girlfriend died, the guy who traveled with him when he toured and journaled died. There was like 3 related Bob Dylan deaths right after that. So he didn't die, but a bunch of people died close to him. But I mean, it kind of feels wrong to like say like I think this person's gonna die. But when I did it for Prince, I said Prince better watch out, man, because he's got all the numbers here to die soon. And sure enough, he died exactly synced up with the numbers I talked about in regards to Prince. But yeah, you could be right. I mean, it's gonna be a bad year for celebrities, just like I said at the beginning of the year, because it's 2020 and death is 20. You're talking about a 20-year-old rapper, and it's kind of how it works. So we'll see.
Yeah, cause I remember. I think I watched like 3 years ago. I'm not gonna lie. Like I used to watch it not like consistently, but I remember like watching like some theories you would say, well, what happened like with the Cavs and the Warriors? That won me some money, anyways. But because I believe it's like it's too good to be true at the same time. But like the coincidence is real. Like it's not even a coincidence. They want you to think of it. Like as a coincidence, that's sad.
The conspiracy is real. The conspiracy is real. They program people to use the word coincidence instead of conspiracy.
Yeah. Like even with the Super Bowl 2, you was leaning on the Chiefs side. The minute I heard that, I was like, I need to throw all my money on the Chiefs side. But I had a feeling they was down and they end up coming back. They end up getting extra they throwing like interception to a certain number that's weird.
Right. Yeah.
That's even more weird. I was just like, it's like crazy to me. Once again, it's sad to predict someone's death, but like, shoot, I'm just saying that's the day I'm looking out for personally, bro. And at the same time, to wake people up more, if you do end up doing it, which I'm not telling you to do, you can do what you want. This is what you do. I respect that. If you do, it will make a lot of people like wake up because a lot of people just like retarded.
Well, I know that you're right. The biggest subscriber gain I ever had in a day was the day Prince died because I put that prediction out there. So I know that is true. Well, what day again do you think this young boy rapper is gonna die?
I said March 8th.
On 3/8, okay. Well, that's very possible.
38, baby. His album equals 308. It's 141 days after his birthday. I don't know. And he equals his name on top of that. That's the crazy part. Like,
well, that's the number that rappers die by at 38. So yeah, it's very possible.
And he said, and one of the songs he said something with suicide. Suicide equals 34. That's another. That's something else. Suicide is 34. I think that relates somehow. I forgot. I remember I seen it. And then it was like with Birdman or Kevin Gates, something like that. But like, yeah, I don't know, man. And he put that tweet out. If you please look into it more, if on your own time. I know you be doing your own thing and stuff. But I feel like that's the way it might happen. If it does, it's sad. I don't want it to happen, but if it does, it's like, damn, it's gonna wake people up just predicting it. People don't think you're stupid. And I don't know. It's possible though. That's how I look at it. You never know at the same time.
All right, I'll check it out. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not him, if it's another rapper that day. Because again, rapper, death, murder, killing, R.I.P. They're all 38, and it's a number that almost always shows up with the rapper's death. So appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
All right, take care.
Have a great day. Keep doing the good work, man.
All right, will do, man. See you.
All right, easy.
Okay. Well, I stayed on for longer than 15 minutes. Let me call back one of these callers because she always does really good work. Out of all the people calling in right now, she's the only number I got saved just because she's a regular member of the Patreon community. But Let me see if she picks up here. She's been calling in. She'll always have a good observation.
Hey, Zach.
Hey, I called you back because I saw you were calling in. What's going on?
Thanks. Yeah, I was gonna say you're right about like how much time we spent wasting time, especially me on the NFL. Seems pretty embarrassing now. But I was actually gonna talk about the day, February 24th, how it's the day that leaves 311 days left in the year.
Ah.
Yeah, so like the reflection of 113.
Right.
And I noticed when you ran today to the NBA Finals, it's 3 months and 11 days.
Perfect.
And also,
I just got to interrupt. 311's the 64th prime, and the finals start on 6/4 so that's kind of interesting. All right, go ahead.
Oh, nice. Today to the March Madness Championship on 4/6. It's funny how they're reflections of each other, 6/4, 4/6.
Right.
But today the 4/6 is 1 month and 13 days, and it's 42 days. If you want to say, yeah, that 42 stands out too. And then with the 66 date numerology, I was just going to mention that. Remember, the NBA was founded on June 6th, 6/6.
I forgot that. Was that in 47 or 46?
In 46.
46, huh?
And even when you write out June 6th in Word, it's 113. So, just some things I noticed with the 311 and 113 that I wanted to point out.
Okay. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, great work as always, Kayla. I appreciate it.
Okay, I'll see you.
All right, take care.
You're welcome.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Yeah, she makes really great observations. I don't honestly know how long she's followed this work for, but she's been following on Patreon and calling in for a while, and she just always sees things I overlook. Caller?
Hey, how you doing, man?
What's up, man?
Hey, I just had a question. Watch your show, man. I appreciate it. Just wondering about lottery numbers, man.
Can you make your phone louder? Can you make your phone louder somehow?
Is that better?
That's better.
Yeah, just kind of wondering, man, what do you have to say about the local lottery numbers that we have, man, like the pick 3, pick 4 lottery type of deal? You think that's scripted, man? How could we get into that?
It is somehow, man. I have people that email me a lot. They're like, "Hey Zach, I've been using the numbers you talk about for the day and putting them in lottery tickets. Like if a number's coming a lot out that day in the news, and like I hit on this today, I hit on that today." I've never done it myself, but I've gotten plenty of emails over the years for things saying like that. So I think there is some sort of pattern. It's like, I know there was something about the Chicago lottery the day Obama was elected, and 666 being the number. And Obama's birthday is the 216th day of the year, and if you multiply 6 times 6 times 6, it's 216, so that probably wasn't an accident. But yeah, I've heard from other people that like the numbers that they're coding repetitiously in the stories that day, that they show up in the lottery numbers too, so...
Okay, I'll keep my eyes open, man. Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome, man. Take care. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there who's written the email should start their own YouTube channel. You probably have 1 million followers, because I think more people have asked me about the lottery than anything else in the time I've been doing this. So, I'll tell you what, we'll take one more call, so whoever the next caller is, and then we'll wrap it up, because I've been on here longer than I meant to be. So we'll see. All right, here it is from Florida. Caller?
Hey, so you remember that guy that died, Orson Bean?
Orson Bean. That name is so familiar. He was a 103 right before Mr. 103 won the Best Actor for Joker. Okay, yeah, he got hit by 2 cars in LA. I remember now.
Yeah, the 91-year-old guy that was somehow outside and got hit by 2 cars. I didn't catch on when I looked at your thing, but his real name, how's this for perfect, is Dallas Frederick Burrows. So in the year that Joe Burrows wins the Heisman and Kobe Bean Bryant dies, they kept him alive all this time for this perfect year. What if we think Dallas might have a shot next year for the triumvirate? What if that happened? That'd be fucking crazy.
All right, I'm gonna have to look up his full name. I missed that too. So his full name has Burrows in it. Again, for people who forgot, Joe Burrows transferred to LSU on May 20th, 2018. You can look this up. They talked about it in the game. He transferred to LSU May 20th, 2018, from Ohio State to LSU. Joe Burrows is who won the football championship for LSU this year in New Orleans in LSU's backyard on January 13th. 113, LSU Tigers 113. But the only other guy to win the Heisman and the championship for LSU was Billy Cannon, who died May 20th, 2018, the same day Joe Burrows transferred. And those were the only two guys to ever win the Heisman that played for LSU. Plus, when Billy Cannon won the championship, he beat Clemson in New Orleans, just like Joe Burrow. And he wore the number 20 for LSU. Billy Cannon did, just like how Death is 20. In the fourth quarter of the championship game, the announcer gave what he called a numerology lesson on the number 20 and the death of Billy Cannon. And then with regards to 20 being the death number, remember that when Chiefs won the championship 20-31, the Super Bowl, the story came out that number 20 for the Chiefs, Morris Claiborne, his brother had died at 31. And where did Morris Claiborne play college football? At LSU. So.
Yeah, and when you look up Morris Claiborne, his career wasn't going so well. Then the guy dies, and now he's on the Super Bowl team. You know, it's like, damn, dog, you had to give him up, huh?
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's how his daughter was married to. Do you remember that guy Andrew Breitbart, the guy that was like poisoned and killed?
Andrew Breitbart from Breitbart News.
Yeah. That's who Orson Bean's daughter was married to.
Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Just for some random facts, but yeah, dude, Burrows.
All right, good one.
1 years old.
All right, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yo.
All right, take care. All right, I'm gonna take one more call. What's up, caller? You gotta mute your video. You're on. Oh, they hung up. All right, caller, you're on.
Hello.
Yeah, can you mute your video? You're on.
Yeah. That's who. So I was wondering, man.
You were wondering? I'm here.
Why my friends just won't believe this stuff? Like, it's funny. It's funny to me.
Well, tell them there's nothing to believe. There's nothing to believe with this work. It's all fact and evidence based.
Exactly. That's what I say. And one of my friends says, "Oh, he's on YouTube. Like, you're getting this off YouTube. You're just making money." Like, no.
How am I getting money? My channel's demonetized. I don't get any money.
Exactly. Perfect point.
Yeah, I get no money.
I told him about how that Kansas versus Baylor game was on 2-2-2, and the coach got his 222nd loss. He's like, "Oh, those are just numbers." Like, yeah, no shit.
But so your friends, your friends, the 90%. That's just how 90% of people are, and I don't understand it. It's just like they won't acknowledge anything. It's like that's exactly what people say to me who don't want to listen. Those are just numbers. It's like, but what are the odds of that?
I know, right? Like, it's not a coincidence. It's not.
Well, the thing is, when you study this every day, like we do, like on Patreon, you see that this stuff goes on all the time. We'll just get. So this is the problem with your friend. Your friend's never going to be making money off exploiting this. It's like you can see it's January 13th. Oh, what do you know? These two coaches today can both pick up their 113th loss. Guess what parlay I'm putting together today? So, it's just this goes on all the time, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like that Damian Lillard shot, how you had to slow it down to see that it was off left and then went to the right just a little bit.
Right.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, it is crazy. The craziest thing of all is how people don't want to see it because it's so obvious. Well, what's your friend say about the chemical tic-tac-toe patterns in the sky? Does he say those are just clouds? Oh, man.
What was it?
I'm just making a joke. It's like people can't even see what's going on in the sky above them. It's like, look up at the sky. Did you notice that was a blue sky 2 hours earlier, and now it's a bunch of tic-tac-toe patterns that are turning into a chemical haze, and nobody thinks anything of that either. It's like going on all over the world, so no one can see anything.
Saying.
Yeah. All right, man.
I found out about your channel from when Kobe died.
Sure.
I've seen that video that you posted.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you found it, man. Thanks for listening.
Yes, sir. You have a good day.
All right, take care. All right. We'll leave it there, you guys. Yeah, I know. Everyone who doesn't want to see this information, it really is their loss. Because, I mean, seriously, even if you're not a gambler, this is easy knowledge to make a few bucks at. I'm guessing the only people who've strung together bets of $5 and $10 and $15 and $20 and $25 that paid several $1,000s this year, I'm guessing the only people who've accomplished that in the world are the people who understand this knowledge and follow my Patreon page. So that is the reality of the situation. You can do that with this knowledge. It shouldn't be all about gambling. It should be more about exposing the cabal, because anyway, this money, we all need it to keep a roof over our head and food on the table, but this money is just a control system too by these people. Okay, I'm going to take one last call, and then I'm really getting off. What's up, caller?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Hey, man, I just want to say, man, thank you for all the information you're putting out there, man. Like, when you live your life every day, and you think, like, everything is normal, but then you start seeing shit, it's like, nah, none of this is coincidence, because it just doesn't make any sense. And when I came across your channel, it was like, man, I knew something was up, but now it's like for real. So I just want to say thank you, man. I appreciate all the work that you've been doing and waking people up, you know.
Well, you're very welcome, and I just want to say that I do this work for people like you because I was in the same boat as you for a long time. I knew something was up. I knew it was something about numbers, but I couldn't connect the dots, and then I found this word one day, Gematria, doing some research, and I was like, well, let me check this out. Maybe this will explain what I'm asking, and sure enough, it did. I said, wow, this is really what connects the dots. So
yeah, man, I'm like, I subscribed to your Patreon a couple months ago, and I bought your book, and I've been reading your book, and it's just an eye opener, man. It's like, you know, just waking up every day. I got kids, and I'm like, damn, this is the world we live in, you know. But it's sad, but then it's like it's a good thing because it's like now you're like, you know who your enemy is, you know.
Indeed.
Yeah. And I was watching this Kobe thing, and you know, I follow you on Patreon and your sports channel, and I saw that the Atlanta Hawks played the Philadelphia 76ers today in Philly.
Well, so that's interesting because they've been making a big deal about Trae Young, who was Gianna Bryant's favorite player, and now he's playing in Philly the day of this memorial. So okay.
Yeah, and the Hawks are on 41 losses right now, and will probably stay there because I know that there's a connection with Kobe and 41.
Kobe Bryant equals 41, dead at 41.
I don't think that's a coincidence, you know.
Of course not. And the Boule's from Philadelphia, and now they're headquartered in Atlanta. So that's the other piece too. And yeah, that's exact. So there it is right there. So the Hawks are on 17 wins. NBA's 17. Hawks is 17. They're on 24 away losses plus 41 overall losses. Kobe Bryant 41, number 24. I see the 76ers are on 26 home wins right now. When we study Gematria every day in sports, you just see how these rituals just go down. Like normally you're not talking about the death of a player as big as Kobe Bryant, but it's just like last year, the Angels and the death of their pitcher last year on July 1st, they did so many rituals with that pitcher in their games. They do the same type of stuff every single year, man. So
yeah, and I think on the day of the Super Bowl also, I was watching the news that day, and I know like throughout the day that they throw hints at us about upcoming events. And that day, the day of the Super Bowl, maybe like 30 minutes before the game, a notification popped up on my phone that said, I think, and it happened in Florida. It was a 42-year-old shot and killed a 15-year-old who played football for his high school. And I was just looking at the numbers, and I said 42 is Black History Month, and I'm like 15, Patrick Mahomes is number 15. I'm like, this is not a coincidence. And then next thing you know, the Chiefs win. They come down because I think I bet at halftime they were like plus 250 or something like that, and I threw some money on them just to see what would happen. And yeah, I'm sure that they did pull it out. It's crazy, man. It's like it's unbelievable, man. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. But, yeah, really good observation on the 76ers and Hawks game because, again, we're talking about the Boule, established in Philly, now headquartered in Atlanta. It's clear as day that that's what's up with this. And again, when you follow this knowledge, you can see how every season is perfectly scripted to make these records line up for these games, like these rituals. You can see it with each team when you follow. You're like, oh, look how it's so perfect for today's game. It's a script, man.
Yeah, man, bro. I just want to say thank you, man.
All right. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Great observation. Thank you. Take care.
All right.
All right. See you, man. All right. Fine. One more call because it's from Los Angeles. Let's close it out with LA. What's up, LA?
Peace. How you doing?
Doing all right, man.
So I just was calling in because I wanted to add something to the number you got on Kobe. When I was looking up the daughter name, I remember you saying it was 126, and then something told me to look up Los Angeles Lakers championship, and that's also 126.
Wow.
Right. So when I seen that, I was like, damn, it might have been for the championship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then with LeBron and him being 35 and all that, I'm like, dang, that might have been like, really that ritual to put LeBron, elevate him more, because even Scottie Pippen was talking about how if LeBron can win, then they're gonna start, talking about LeBron and Michael Jordan again as who's the greatest, to like reopen the debate and all of that.
Even though that's already really answered. Michael Jordan didn't ever have 3 wins and 6 losses in the NBA Finals. LeBron's a proven loser,
right.
But yeah. I hear you, man.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to add.
Appreciate it, man. You have a good day.
You too, bro.
All right, take care. Yeah, it's all scripted, but I mean, they never scripted Michael Jordan to come out and be a loser. They do that script all the time for LeBron, and he follows just fine. Doesn't even show up for the biggest games of his career. That's why he's 3-6 in the finals. Joker. All right, we'll leave it there. Pick up that book. That is the only way I do make money, if you buy my book. But again, anyone who picks up my book, I charge $5 for an 800-page book, and I've hardly made anything off it. And because nobody wants to read. No one wants knowledge. And I know I said that was going to be the last call, but somebody's calling in who's a really good caller, so I got to take his call too. All right, what's up, man?
What's up, man? Zach, I know you're trying to get off. I ain't going to hold you, man. Just want to make a quick point about the with the guy calling about the NBA young boy. He might be onto something with that, man. From the time that Kobe died until that date that he said, the 3/8, that would be 42 days. And from the memorial today to that date, that would be 13 days. And as you know, his name is never broke again, young boy. But NBA, Kobe, think about it. You know what I mean? So,
Sure.
I don't know. I just want to throw that out there, man.
All right, I will look at that more. Appreciate it, man.
That's what it is, man. Have a good one, man.
All right, take care.
All right.
All right, I'm really getting off this time. Thank you, everyone. Oh, my God. All right. It's hard to get off. All right, one last call. What's up, caller? Oh, he hung up. So it was supposed to be the end of the show. All right, until next time.